Hello everybody and welcome back to episode 5 of Forever and Ever, the Killie Fans podcast, with me, Paul Montgomery, and as ever the one and only, the handsome, the unmistakable, the fountain of knowledge, it's Killie Callum Scott. How are you tonight, my man?
Raring to go, plenty to speak about tonight, aren't we?
Absolutely, loads and loads to get through tonight. We're recording in a slightly different place, we're trying something a wee bit different, so please let us know if the sound differs in any way, shape or form. It shouldn't be too much, but we're trying something a wee bit different here, so you can let us know if you do notice any difference. Loads and loads to get through tonight. Loads of developments that have actually happened today as we record here on the Monday night that we're going to go through. We've had some pre-season stuff to talk about, some signings that seem like they're going to be in the door pretty quickly. The highs and lows of being a Killie fan, we're going to chat about that. And we've obviously got KTB, Killie Trust Bingo, coming up. It's always very popular amongst all the listeners, and we can't wait to get through all that sort of stuff. As ever, a huge thank you to all the people who reach out to us on Twitter and on Facebook and in the forums and via personal message. We really appreciate it, and we're so thrilled that we're reaching so many Killie fans. That was the whole point, wasn't it, my friend?
Exactly, that was it. That's what it says in the tin, essentially, for us. That's what we're trying to get going, and it's buzzing so far, the amount of people that have got in touch. And obviously I'll not say pestering because it's not been, but it's been good to see so many people being like, when's the next pod out, because we're recording in a different night.
That's
which
right.
is what we're doing going further forward, because this will be better for when the season starts with availability and stuff. So we're actually recording at 9 o'clock on a Monday night for you, so there's commitment after me working my second job.
I'm just a grafter.
Aye.
I've been out digging the roads all day, so that's what we're going to go going forward. This will probably be the time that we record, and we'll probably try and have it out on a Tuesday. That's what we're going to aim to do. Obviously we're beginners at this to an extent, so we're kind of finding our feet as we go, but all the feedback and all the listens doesn't go unnoticed. As always, we've had some interesting comments from people. Let's say a big thanks to Alistair Duff, who gave us some kind words on the Twitter. Johnny Sinclair, who's on his holidays, sent us a nice message earlier on. Laurie Finlayson, hello Laurie, who always listens and gives loads of good, but I had a good chat with him about Jordan Jones today, which we're going to talk about. Andy Kay, as always, loads and loads of nice input on the Twitter. Big Dudge, who listens every week, and I'm actually picking him up tomorrow night. He's going to see Guns N' Roses.
That's very Big Dudge, isn't
it? That's the most typical Big Dudge thing ever, so hello big man. And some good stuff last week about the Nearly Men. Yep. We had some really good responses to that. Matt Mills said Alexei Lalas. Nearly got like me. Do you know who Alexei Lalas is? Showing my age here, right? So Alexei Lalas was the captain of America during the USA '94.
Oh,
the ginger guy with the ginger beard.
Aye.
So apparently he was linked to us. That,
under who? What?
Run about USA '94.
Shut up.
Seriously, so Matt Mills says. So that would have been a hell of a signing, Alexei Lalas. Loads of folk talking about Umar Bukhari. You remember him as well? He seemed like he was going to be a big deal, didn't he, Big Omar, but never quite happened.
Nah, never did, but I mean, was that the guy that was at the open day and all the rest of it? And then,
that's right, aye. Staying in the Park Hotel and all that stuff.
Aye, so, no, there's been plenty of good ones, and then even one we photo off air, Derek Ryland.
That's right.
He was training with Killie and it looked like it was going to happen, then it all fell through, but I listened to him on Sports Sound a couple of years after that, and allegedly he offered to play for nothing but travel expenses, and Kenny Shields was up for it. But certain who'll be a constant theme in the show, Mr. Michael Johnson.
Yep, the lawyer, what a legend.
Exactly, and he just very Mr. McMahon, isn't he? So
no chance.
So it was Michael Johnson that didn't want him part of the
He vetoed Derek Riordan. Well, there you go. Mikey Kenmure and David H and Samo on Twitter had an interesting chat. Do you remember these two? I think it was Ghanaian trialists that came in.
In the crowds at the reserve games.
The big, huge crowd. Steve Baidu and Sami Ajad are the names we've got here. That might not be 100% correct, but a bit of chat about them. They were obviously nearly men, and they were a big deal when they played in the reserves. It was very exciting and all that stuff. So, honestly, thank you so much to everybody for getting involved and keeping things going. That's the whole point of the podcast. So, it's gone really well, and we really do appreciate it. On another side note, Lee McNaught let us know that Nathan Tyson has a new club. Friend of the podcast, Nathan Tyson, he's signed for Grantham Town.
Well, I think he's got us to thank for that, for putting him back in the map.
That can't be a coincidence, mate. That I've not heard anything from Nathan Tyson for years and years, and all of a sudden he's popping up with a big money move like that to Grantham Town. So all the best to Nathan. We don't expect goals, but wow, he can press. We established that a few weeks ago. So the Grantham Town fans, you're getting a hell of you're going to get a lot of effort out of Nathan Tyson. So loads and loads to talk about tonight. It's been a busy day for a Killie fan. We've had to kind of jumble things about because there has been a major announcement in the past couple of hours. James Fowler has left the club. Just around about 3 years in post, I believe. 2019 he came in. Tonight he has been made, said as a redundancy because of a sort of reshuffle and a restructuring. Fowler's away. We haven't even had the chance to talk about this off air yet, so what's your immediate sort of response to James Fowler leaving the club, mate?
Well, I'm no surprised because I think that the rumours have been circling for a wee bit, and when they seem to kind of die down, they would almost appear again. I remember hearing it right at the very, very end of the season that he was supposed to be away,
right?
But then nothing happened, and then you seen him. Well, obviously there was pictures of him with McInnes at Largs and that, all laughing and joking and all the rest of it. And then there was rumours that he was supposed to take over the women's team to be their manager.
Well, I noticed they're already advertising the night on Twitter, looking for a manager and somebody to be kind of head up the whole operations thing. So that's obviously tying into that.
No, unless it's one of the kind of council jobs where they they put it out in advertisement and they've already got somebody ready made for it. You've just got to do it for legal reasons.
Nepotism.
But no, I think I'm not really surprised. I can't say it's been successful for him.
It hasn't been successful, that's the truth. Unfortunately.
It hasn't. Obviously, if he's come in, as you say, they came in, I think, kind of September, October 2019. Alessio was no longer in the building. He obviously, I know what happened there, and there's just been a constant decline.
Do we know what happened there? Do we really?
Well, he left, obviously.
We know that for sure.
And then Dyer came in and all the rest of it, and then we've eventually found ourselves in the Championship, but thankfully now back up again. Is it fair? It's no fair to say that that's James Fowler's doing. Of course it's no. I don't believe that for a minute. But it's no coincidence either. I mean, if you come into the club and there's just been a constant decline, I think it's no helped. It's not really. He's tried to speak about what his role is, but a lot of people still don't know what his role is.
I think I totally agree with that. I think, given the fact he's been here for nearly 3 years, there has been massive turmoil in the time he's been here, on the park and off the park. He obviously named he can legislate for a global pandemic hitting and all that stuff. And I think in many ways he's to be applauded for steadying the ship and doing whatever he did to keep us afloat during that time. However, the stone cold facts are, on the pitch it was decline almost non-stop until McInnes came in, and now McInnes has come in and Fowler's away. I think you can take for that whatever you will. James Fowler's a legend at Kilmarnock Football Club, and he will be for the amount of games he played, for winning a major trophy. It's no worked out, and I think it's actually as simple as that, and it's probably the best thing for everybody that he's moved on. Nah,
absolutely, because hopefully he still goes with, as you just said, his reputation still intact for what he done as a player, and we thank him for that. And he has stepped in, obviously, at times to take charge of the team when we've been in the process of not having a manager, but it's just no worked, as you've said. Do I think that there's scope for a job there? Absolutely. I think that it was the right idea, but I just don't think he was the right man for it. But it didn't help, as I said, the clarity aspects of it. I mean, folk were still calling him director of football, he wasn't. He was head of football operations.
What's your understanding of that role then, head of football operations?
Well, with what I thought he was there to assist, as opposed to people thought he was signing the players and that. I think he was identifying certain players, but there's no way that all the guys were signed were James Fowler's guys. I mean, like he's only got to go. He can drop a short list of this is maybe who should go. Then he maybe takes over with negotiations and stuff to free up the manager time, like on the training ground and the actual like first team, which I think's a good thing. Like I think if I was a manager, I don't know how I would like to be tied up negotiations.
You are a manager.
No, I know, but thankfully, obviously, Billy does all my negotiating for me, as we talk about. But I think that's actually a good thing. A lot of people don't, but I don't believe for a minute that he was stepping on anybody's toes and like in saying you're signing him. But it's just no work to it. I think that if Billy Bowie's listening, the board are listening, I think they need to get a football man on board.
Right.
And I know that sounds like a bit of a da comment and all the rest of it, but I think that you do need somebody like that, because with all the goodwill with Bowie, McLeish, Cathy Jemison, sometimes their footballing decisions are questionable. I think that they need to go out and get somebody experienced to be actually on the board to advise them, and I think that'd be like the likes. I'm not saying Jim Jeffries, but Jim Jeffries has done that kind of advocacy role at Edinburgh City and Hearts. Like, why should you know be looking at somebody?
So you're thinking about somebody a wee bit more seniority, maybe somebody who's maybe been over the course. They're no managing anymore. I don't know what Gordon Strachan's role is at Dundee. Would it be someone along the lines and a name like that? Would you be more kind of leaning towards that type of thing you're talking about? Or?
I exactly. I think that there's scope for that, even just for, as I say, advice, literally advice. But with what Fowler was doing himself, should somebody be in maybe doing contract negotiations and that? I don't see why no. With a bit of assistance, we're working. Michael Johnson used to do contract negotiations and stuff like that as well. It wasn't just the manager. So there's a lot that needs sorted behind the scenes. But I think that the idea was right. It just, they couldn't deliver it and it didn't work.
And that's us. So James Fowler has officially left the club July the 4th, 2022, Independence Day of all days. And obviously it goes with, I'm sure, everybody who's listening, and certainly us two in here, it goes with our absolute best wishes. Always will be a club legend, often derided at the time for his talent on the park, but really hit form as he got a wee bit older and moved into centre midfield. We've already talked about him in the podcast, and I'm sure loads of folk will remember him with fondness. He's moved on. We'll see where he goes next. But there we go. So a pretty big developing story that we've had to cover tonight. It goes with our best wishes, and we'll see what happens next. I think with McInnes being in charge, he's his own man. I think that's a good thing. But that doesn't take away from the fact that eventually McInnes will move on, and we need to have better structures in place. We can't be in the same position that we ended up after Clark left, when it was like, shit, what happens now? We need to have something better this time.
Exactly, Monty. And he came in on that. I don't know who made the point in the forums, but somebody did, just in the thread that's up there now, was saying that, I mean, if this is, I'm not saying it's McInnes' decision to come in and rip up everything, because I don't think it is, but he is his own man. But if that's the case, then give him a longer contract. Like if you're going to get in and get rid of Fowler's 3-year hard work or decline, whatever you want to call it, then you need to have some kind of plan in place. And if McInnes, but that's just a speculating who says that McInnes has got to want to run the club top to bottom. But you could imagine him being that kind of guy, like the way Clark was. So he's got less than 12 months on his deal, don't we? Let's get it sorted then. If he's got to be here for the long term, we need to make a statement, or they go out and get somebody more qualified to do the job. Simple as that.
Simple as that. On a note, before we kind of take a wee break here, James Fowler, we're going to talk about highs and lows of being a Killie fan in a bit. And it's just popped into my head, actually, one of the games that James Fowler was in interim charge, St Mirren away.
Oh, it was grim.
Oh my God.
Pierrick played.
Brandon Pierrick played, aye. And I remember us all being fairly kind of upbeat about it, because it was one of the first games after Dyer left, aye. And I remember thinking, right, all right, fresh start here. That's as bad as I've ever seen us play, man. It's horrendous.
They plucked a 3-4-3 out here.
Aye, that's right.
I'd never seen Killie play three at the back, right, ever. And then
so
a 3-4-3, and it was.
Brandon Pierrick, he was meant to be good too. Anyway, good luck to Brandon wherever he is. So we'll take a wee short break, and then we'll get back and into the podcast properly. But as I said, one more time, James Fowler has officially left the club, and we wish him all the very best. Hello everybody, you're listening to episode 5 of Forever and Ever, the Killie Fans podcast. We are absolutely knee deep in pre-season. The games are flying in now. We have plenty of talk about signings and potential signings. We're going to chat about them in a wee second. But you've got someone you want to bring up about this new Killie Discord channel that's happening. I'm obviously the elder statesman here of the podcast. The Discord thing, I don't know too much about it, but it's Neil who's been in touch.
Yep,
and it sounds really interesting, so we wanted to give that a couple of minutes.
No, absolutely. So it's obviously Neil Doherty that's got in touch with us, who's been listening to the podcast. He's a big Killie fan, and he's also an author, so there's no many of us that can say that we've got that in our...
No, that's for sure.
So he was author of World Cup 1998 Scotland Story, and he's kindly actually given you and I 2 free copies to his book.
There we go.
Well, we did say before about Wayne's World.
We'll never bow to any corporate sponsor, but here we are accepting free books.
Here we are, absolutely.
But thank you very much. I'm actually looking forward to reading that. So
no,
appreciate it,
same. So Neil is behind there's a Discord. I'll try and explain it the best I can, but better yet, we can maybe get Neil on the podcast at some point.
That would be tremendous.
Once it obviously comes more to fruition. But Discord, for those of you that don't know, is a kind of social networking type. It's like WhatsApp. But this way I had to download Discord to get my dodgy Fire Stick. But it's not quite Telegram levels that I had before. But Discord, I mean, you can stream and all the rest of it on it. I mean, we tried to record Bus Ball on Discord, so it's that. But it's essentially like, I could really try my best to put it into words. It's like a forum,
right?
Except via WhatsApp and a big massive chat essentially,
right.
As opposed to having to go into KillieFC.com forums. So the name of it is the East Stand, I believe, and the Discord links on Neil Doherty's Twitter, which is at Neil Doherty, NEILDOHERTY 1873. And it's all on there. They're hoping to get engagement for plenty of Killie fans and general discussion points. Again, the only way I can try and bring it in, it's like you can see how things have changed. You've got Facebook groups now, you've got all the Killie Facebook groups, you've got Killie Twitter pages and that now. So why should you know of like kind of instant messaging kind of aspect to it? But again, I could be misselling it here. Neil's kindly sent us a poster as well, which I suppose we can put out on our Twitter as well.
We'll do that. We have that more information on it.
That should be it. But essentially it just states, seeking volunteers who may be interested in getting involved in a new Kilmarnock FC fan Discord server. As you maybe know, Discord is a great platform with a lot of potential for long-term football interaction. I'll be seeking contributions for a range of channels. I will also be seeking a team of moderators to help me if the server gains a following. So what we would ask you today is to go join it if you can. As I said, the link is in Neil's bio. We've retweeted it today, and again it's East Stand and it's a trial Kilmarnock FC fan Discord server. So for all kind of Killie chat, you can go there as well as the forums as well.
There you go. So that's us moving into the 21st century here with Discord. So it's just another way for Killie fans to connect with one another, and that's really a big point of the podcast as well. We've had obviously fans for all around the world getting in touch, and that's what it's all about. There's no millions of Killie fans in this world, so we do need to stick together. So check out Neil's Discord stuff and we'll retweet it all on the channel. Right, so pre-season is well and truly underway. I know loads of folk were managing to get streams of some of the games we've had during the week. They're a 2-each draw with the wonderfully named Lincoln Red Imps. I keep calling them Rinkin Lead Imps when I was trying to get this together earlier on. So we drew 2 each with them and beat Charlton 1-0 as well. So 2 pretty decent enough results, you would say, considering the Red Imps are the champions of Gibraltar, and Charlton, once upon a time, were quite a big club down in England. For what I can tell, reasonably run-of-the-mill pre-season games, but looking solid enough, and you would think they're 2 no bad results, mate. What have you heard about the games?
No, absolutely. For what I've seen of them, you can't. It's all about getting minutes under the belt, as the cliche goes. But you can't really ask for much more than that, and especially with all respect to kind of limited capability, the squad that's there now. I don't think that's for what we've set up with the 2 games. I don't see us having that for the Dundee United game, first game of the season. So you've got to take that as a positive. Again, but you can't complain. Obviously, Lee Hodgson scoring goals as well is kind of something.
I've got a feeling he's going to get converted into a centre forward next year.
That's well, we could maybe be done with it.
The Hodmeister.
But no, it all seemed to go well. All the training camp and stuff, by the social media and that was good. Players are all getting away and the one where they're training, all the rest of it. So no, I think it's on the whole a pretty decent wee week in the sun for them.
I seen some Charlton fans getting annoyed on Twitter, which I really enjoyed, slagging Killie because Slagging, hold on. So the gist of what I could tell on the threads was that the Charlton fans were slagging Killie for getting beat by basically saying, "Oh no, that's no your full team. If we had a full team, it's your nan could win, score goals in your league and all that stuff." Even though we beat them 1-0, with nothing like our first team either. So I was a bit concerned for some of the Charlton fans. I felt it was the man he doth protesteth too much. I don't know what league Charlton are in now.
League One.
Then League One. I do remember them from back in the day when they were alright, but so they were a wee bit upset, but we've already upset Fleetwood fans, so we don't want, and I'm going to upset Hartlepool fans in a wee second or not. So good luck to you. Don't worry. Listen, there's no shame in getting beat with a mighty Killie, lads, right? Plenty have got beat before. Plenty will be beat again. There is no shame in losing to Killie, even in pre-season. And the Lincoln Red Imps, none of their fans seem bothered. I don't know if their fans are all on holiday together in a minibus or something like that, but they don't seem too bothered. On the Lincoln Red Imps, right, who famously beat Celtic a few years ago, didn't they?
Aye, beat them 1-0, aye.
Beat them 1-0.
But see, on that, can I actually say something?
Aye.
See, when folk obviously going about Killie's Connors Key moment,
Aye.
and folk say, "Oh, Celtic get beat by Red Imps," it doesn't really count, does it? Because they beat them like 4-0 in the next leg.
Aye. Well, Celtic still
But
went
up
through.
1-0 at half time.
Celtic still went through it by
But so
far.
it was still obviously comical for the time.
It was comical at the time. It was Brendan Rodgers.
Aye, his first game, aye.
First game.
Aye, it was his first
So
game.
there you go. But like,
Had
so,
shorts on in the dugout.
was he enjoying himself? Good for him. Right, so I had a look at the Red Imps Wikipedia the day. Do you know they once went 2,000 days unbeaten? 5.5 years, never lost a league game. 88 games in a row. Could it be us, the boys? Could it be a Killie? And just some of the names that are in that league, the Gibraltar Premier League. There's a team called Lynx.
Just
No Lynx as in what I would have for my breakfast. Lynx as in the Africa.
Aye.
I don't know if that's a sponsorship like RB Leipzig or whatever. College 1975. That's another team in that league. There's a team called Manchester 62.
right.
Aye. And my favourite, this sounds to me like a kids TV programme that would have been on just before Grange Hill or Blue Peter. It's Bruno's Magpies. Bruno's Magpies. So, aye, there you go. The good old Gibraltar League. Tremendous. We drew 2 each with the Red Imps, who once went 2,000 days without a loss. And they're in the Champions League this year. They're playing a Macedonian team. So, good luck to them.
Aye,
good luck to the Red Imps.
Should start a partnership with them.
A wee 2 each draw. So I think seem to be going alright in pre-season. We've had a bit of correspondence as well with somebody saying that Stephen Warnock has been standing out in some of the games. He's been coming on, making a bit of an impact. Stephen Warnock, I believe, is he like an attacking midfielder?
Aye, he's
wee
like the
ginger
calm,
guy?
aye, because he's always looked kind of when he's come on the odd games, he looks hungry, obviously. Folk going, oh, he's maybe too lightweight and all that, but nah, he's always kind of impressed me anytime he's got a wee run. He was a guy that 100% stood out in that COVID game against, remember, I played Dunfermline.
In the cup game,
he was brilliant that day.
Fraser Murray scored for him that night.
I scored a free kick. Colin Doyle was in there, right enough, so I could have scored the free kick. But I think that Warnock stood out like a sore thumb for then, and people are obviously desperate for him to try and get a run, but it never happened with the relegation, and then into the obviously the championship as well, because it was like must win every week again with that factor.
Was Warnock away on loan last year?
Yes,
he was.
So.
Where was he? Do you remember?
Go to Stranraer, I think.
I
We sent a few players done that way, but again, obviously Connell and that were at East Fife and stuff. But
Right.
I'm certain Warnock went to Stranraer.
I really want this guy Warnock to do well because he's ginger and all. I think you're only
Unfashionable.
Unfashionable. You really, if you've got a good ginger in your team, I think you're really ahead of the game.
Lenny.
So like the Gary Holt days, Chris Burke, he was kind of ginger.
Aye.
David Bagan. So we want to get a good ginger in the team. And Stephen Warnock just sounds like a guy for Killie.
Aye.
Sounds like a guy you went to school with. So I'm all for this guy, Stephen Warnock. I might get him on the back of my tap.
No, well, what we all want to see here is young players actually getting a chance with Killie.
Absolutely, man.
And I know it's easy to say that without doing it, but again, not to draw too much in Fowler, but we didn't see any of that. There was no direction of the club. It was loan signing after loan signing, which is the current market, but You want to see guys like this come through and kind of get a wee bit of a chance, but it's obviously just not happened. And sorry, it was Forfar. He was at on loan. It wasn't Stranraer.
Okay, just checking your phone there, mate.
No, just come back to me. I checked up. It was Forfar. I knew it was.
But that's what pre-season's all about. It sounds like we're beginning to gel as a team. The guys are getting minutes in the legs, and these young players are staking a claim for a place in the team. Stephen Warnock being one of them, so we're looking forward to seeing a bit more of him. On another wee quick side note, I see that the SPL Trust Trophy was drawn the day. We've got a B team in it this year, and we've been drawn against Cowdenbeath. So that'll be a home game as well, and you might see the likes of Stephen Warnock, and that might be good development for him playing against, obviously, full team. Although Cowdenbeath are Highland League now, aren't they?
Aye.
They get relegated this year, so
they haven't done.
I don't know how I feel about that, and we'll maybe talk about that another day, but just another development that came today. So, pre-season is well and underway. Our next game, I believe, is tomorrow night. Dunfermline.
Dunfermline, another friendly, yeah.
So again, we'll see how the boys are shaping up, and things really are beginning to take shape now. We're no too far away for the first game in the League Cup, and then it's all systems go for Dundee United in the league. It's very exciting. Of course, what we're going to need before then is we're going to need some players, and so two names that we've been heavily linked with over the past few days, one of which seems like it might actually happen in the next 24 hours, is Liam Donnelly, who was at Motherwell last year, a Northern Ireland international, who I'm led to believe can play kind of anywhere across the midfield and defence, but a utility guy, but somebody who's got a bit of SPFL Premier League experience, and a very controversial name in these parts, but it's another rumour that will not go away, the one and only Jordan Jones. So we'll start with JJ. A very divisive character. You look at that big smile on your face, man. You've got something to say here, I think. So Jordan Jones, well, there was talk that he was actually training with the boys. Talk that he's maybe going to come on loan. Talk that he's going to do a year's deal. We don't know. First and foremost, how do you feel about Jordan Jones coming back to the club if he does?
Delighted. I would. Well, I just think that. I think I'm maybe in the minority with it. Delighted's too far. I'll just take meddling that for effect. I'm happy to see Jones back. I think that we've not replaced him if he's went. Folk are quick to say, "Oh, well, look at his end product and all the rest of it," but it's not just about that. Look at how far he gets shut the pitch right away. Again, you want more, of course you do, but he is capable. We've seen the quality that he's got. People also look to his last season and say that, oh, well, his goals and assists weren't great. But what people are forgetting, because of how good he was the season before that, he was getting doubled up on every time he touched the ball. And in doing that, you get Greg Stewart, Brophy and Burke with more space. So even though he wasn't directly chipping in with the goals and assists, but he still did. He contributed, but maybe not as much as they were. But he was taking two guys at the game every time he touched the ball. Folk were feared of Jones every time he got on it, because they just knew that they'd be facing their own goal by the time that he'd be running at them. So I think that we're crying out for pace. I'm happy to see that as well. Know that get too tactical, but I'm hoping that means if he comes in that we're going to play with wingers instead of wing backs, because it's something that doesn't really appeal to me about the formation. Right. So, but there again, it's maybe options. But I think that the way he left was obviously disappointing with the "we are the people" thing and all the rest of it. But it was stupid. Listen, we're not going to kid on here that Jordan Jones is really that smart, is he? like he's daft. You can see
seems
that
like
with the mistakes and that he made at Rangers. Anytime he get a chance with Rangers, he seemed to throw it away with doing something stupid. But there's no doubt he's got ability and he's got Premiership ability. Again, people will say, "Oh, we didn't set the heather alight with St Mirren." But I spoke to one of my mates who was a St Mirren fan. He said that he was good, but he said just essentially what I said. You had to get you out in the park, but other than that, there was no much else that was really happening. But did they really have a good last 6 months of the season? Is it fair to put that on Jones?
Mate, I think what we need to remember here is that if Jordan Jones went to St Mirren and ripped it up and scored 8 and assisted 10, he wouldn't be coming to Killie anyway. He would be going back down to Wigan and they'd be selling him or he'd be playing for them. So I'll need to hold my hands up here. Jordan Jones, I blocked Jordan Jones on Twitter, right? That's how upset I was. I don't block folk on Twitter, but I blocked him because I was so annoyed at that "we are the people" stuff. And I sort of fooled myself into thinking we would be better off without him, because I was like, there's no end product, it's one good game in 6, it's this, that, he steps out, he turns back and all that. I would be happy to take him back because pretty much everything you just said there, the pace that he brings to the team, he goes at people, right? That's what he does. No way was perfect, and no way was the end product, no way was the cross or the shot that you want. But again, he is playing with Killie, no Barcelona. And I think, moreover, I just have a feeling that McInnes is the type of guy that's going to get something out of him. I think under Clark, who, as we've talked about before, run the club a certain way. And actually, if you remember, Jones came right out the team towards the end of Clark's time because he obviously wasn't doing it and he just disappeared. So I think that's obviously what he needs. He's an international, right? He plays for Northern Ireland. He's got experience down in England now. Will he play every single week? I don't know. But I think, especially if we can get him on loan, it's a fail-safe, kind of idiot-proof deal.
It's a total risk-free signing.
And see what he can do, if he can still do it. Because on his day, as we all know, as we've all seen, whether we like it or not, and I didn't like it for a while, the guy could be absolutely sensational on his day. Was there a game? Was it Livingston? Or was it St Johnstone?
Oh, St Johnstone, terrorised them.
Terrorised the fullback, inside, outside, other way around. Really, really tremendous. And that was part of a really good team. You've got to say that. But somebody said earlier on the day that even a rubbish Jordan Jones gets you 30 yards up the park in a shy or a corner, that we've now got targets, the likes of Ash Taylor and Big Lafferty, who will attack the ball. Big Sanders if he plays. So I just think I get it. I for the way he left, and he's not exactly went on to amazing things. He did leave, but we're in a position. We're a promoted club, by the way, and if he's Premier League experience, we can make it work financially. I'll just shut up about it and let him come back. I think, because it did piss me off the way he left. But
absolutely.
I think we've got to take a chance on guys like that. That's where we're at. That's the way I see it.
I think that is where we're at, and I've always, especially in my younger days, thinking, well, no player is bigger than the club, and we all know that, right? But sometimes we're not in a position where you can kind of turn down that. As you said, he's got Premiership experience. We know what he's capable in his day. He knows the club, and as stupid as that was, that we are the people and all the rest of it, like, he apologised for it, like, directly. Well, he put up a big, don't know whether he apologised, but then he put up a big tribute to Kelly, like an hour or something after it, to be like, listen, the fans, all that, blah, blah, blah. If he'd done that first, it'd be a different story, right?
I know.
But he's excited, he signs for Rangers. Will you want to say it's his boyhood club or no? I don't know, but he claims he's a Rangers fan, right? So, does that, but he gets out and scores against them the next game, I mean,
like, something, mate, I think the thing with Jones, and this is true of quite a few guys who leave clubs in Scotland and go to Celtic or Rangers, Jordan Jones has probably never really been at that level, right? He's probably especially a good Rangers team, which they turned into quite a decent team there for a wee while. Still a decent team just now. Jones has probably never been at that level. He's probably a Killie player. That's the level he's likely at. A decent Premier League player. He went down south. He done well for Sunderland, I think, in League One. But even the Championship would maybe be a stretch for him. He got the chance to go to Rangers and make X amount of money to go and you know what that's like when you sign for Celtic or Rangers. It changes your life for loads of different ways.
Goldfish bowl, man.
It is, man. But see, to be honest, I mean, Jordan, know that I think he's going to be an accomplished after-dinner speaker. I don't think that's part of his repertoire. But really, I mean, the way Rangers and Celtic operate in this country is that in 20 years' time, Jordan Jones could probably still be making money off the back of having played 15 games for Rangers, be going to Rangers pubs and supporters clubs and talking and all that stuff. So it's changed his life. I don't like it. It upsets me because I'm a Killie fan, but I need to accept it. And it's no going to cloud my opinion of him coming back and playing for this totally new team that we've now got under McInnes. So if Jordan Jones comes back, he comes back with a grudging acceptance for me. I think that's the way I would put it.
Fair. I'm happy to have him back. I think that we're crying out for pace. He gives us that. Would I want to see more goals and assists from him? Absolutely. I think he's capable. I just think that it makes sense. It does.
Although, see, assists, right? I've never really got the big deal with assists because technically you could get the ball off the goalie, right, and go by 8 players, the goalie comes out, you go round him, then you slide it along the line to centre forward and he misses and you don't get an assist.
Aye, well, without getting into XG territory here, right, obviously you get that, whatever, like goal contribution or so, I don't know, but I mean, do you want to see your winger sometimes just go by somebody and floating a good ball and somebody heads it in? Aye. So, I want to see more of that for Jones, we all do.
Absolutely.
But I think he's capable, honestly, do. I think that I know a lot of people will only be happy, but same with anything. I wasn't happy about Alan Power coming back.
That's right.
For me, he was one of the worst that left. And with what I think, he didn't say thanks or anything to the fans. He's still on our contract, all the rest of it. But we'll not get into that. I think when Jones, if and when he does sign, come Dundee United first game of the season, it will be forgotten about.
That's it.
If it's not forgotten, then it'll be forgotten about a month into the season.
If it's 3 or 4 good games, that's the way it goes. So we'll see what happens with Jordan Jones. His Northern Ireland international teammate Liam Donnelly has also been heavily linked. In fact, there's a paper in Belfast running a story that he's pretty much signed. Again, I'm going to need to pass over to you, mate, because he's not a player that I'm familiar with. I remember seeing his name. I put him in this bracket of Motherwell players who I don't know anything about. I just know they played
more fun to one.
Him and Grimshaw. Just these names that Motherwell seem to have running about. What kind of player is he for people that maybe are like me and don't really recall him?
Well, the first thing I did was, fortunate I've got a couple of mates that are Motherwell fans, so I messaged them. I think he's a terrific player. He's a really, really good player. He's kind of he's good at free kicks and all the rest of it. I think he scored free kicks and that. His goal scoring record's pretty decent.
I read that in his Wikipedia.
13 goals or something.
He went through a spate of scoring loads and loads of goals.
So I think that, again, he's somebody that I can't say has stood out a lot to me. I know he had a really bad injury. I think it ruled him out for the COVID season. But before that, the season at Motherwell finished third. I think he was a key part of that team, going by again what my mates told me. And I think they were sad to see him go. I think it's just one of them Alexander's get his own guys. And he doesn't, he's maybe whatever, he's happy to get him off the wage bill. He's probably on a decent money with him.
Right.
So, internationalist as well.
Well, there you go again, man. Another international football player. We're not in the position to turn our noses up at international players, in my opinion.
Well, I think we're in the process of turning into Northern Ireland B team.
Well, there is that, perhaps.
With the amount of Northern Irish international players we've got, Hodgson and Brad Lyons and all the rest of it as well. I don't think Brad Lyons is an internationalist, but you know what I mean. So no, I think it seems to be my catchphrase, well, these ones, but it does make sense. I think he's got Premiership experience, covers a few positions. He's at a good age. I think that if we can get a couple more like him in, we're still way off as far as I'm concerned.
We're a long way away, I think, still. And I think we've already talked about that. McInnes agrees. There is something for me I'm kind of conflicted here, because on one hand you want interesting, exciting signings, right? Guys that you've maybe never heard of as such. And I know teams like Aberdeen seem to be bringing in guys that are a bit like who. So on one hand you want that because there's the hope that they're going to be tremendous. And then on the other hand, you just think, you know what, we'll just promote it. We've got a good manager here. Get solid signings in, guys with experience, and take it for there almost. You know what I mean? It's like, it might not be dead exciting signing Liam Donnelly and Jordan Jones for St Mirren and Motherwell respectively, and Alan Power and even maybe McEnroy, although he excites me because he's a bit younger. But I'm quite heartened by that, actually, man. I think that's solid signings.
I think that's what we need. I mean, we've said for years, take a chance on players for England, the gems under there, and then you end up with, respect, Nicky Kabamba, Mitchie Pins, God rest his soul. Never got to see him in the flesh, man.
No, never. Just that, like I tell you, like Ken Barlow, the Coronation Street, just a flicker on a TV screen. But yeah, he does exist.
He does, aye. Well, I think Northampton are playing St Mirren in a pre-season game, so
we need to go there, man.
I think we might be off
to
see him. But I think what you need to look at is McInnes' record before with Aberdeen. He'd signed, he was in a fortunate position with Aberdeen where he had probably the biggest budget.
He's in a different market, man, definitely.
But he was able to hoover up all the kind of best known talent in Scotland for a fact, and then take the odd gamble on Kenny McLean, Shane Ferguson, Lewis Ferguson.
Shane Ferguson's Northern Irish.
See, I'm just conditioned myself. Lewis Ferguson for Hamilton, and taking them up, which I kind of maybe see me on the kind of McEnroy mould. And then as well as going out and kind of signing his Shinnies, his Hayes and all the rest of it. So I think that it's what we need. We need experience. We need guys that know the league first and foremost, and then we take it from there. But I don't doubt that there'll maybe be some loans for England or something like that.
I think there will be some exciting signings to come. But we'll see how this goes for both of these guys over the next few days. And by the time we record again, we might have them, and we might be even closer to being Ulster Killie. Come on, the Killie.
Oh, there's a man for the role that I was talking about earlier.
Get Kenny back.
Aye.
There we go. By the way, Maybe not a terrible shout. So we're going to take a wee break soon and then get into something a bit more upbeat and fun. But just so much to talk about just now. But there's been rumours the day swirling round about that Ollie Shaw, who, as we've discussed, really came onto a game last year after a kind of stickier start, scored plenty of goals, league winner, scored a brilliant goal in Kirkcaldy on the last day of the season.
The move was phenomenal.
Goal of the season for me, sensational stuff. He's been linked with Hartlepool today. Hartlepool, who are now managed by Paul Hartley, which is nice. Hartlepool, Paul Hartley. And I've obviously signed Ewan Murray already and Jake Hasty, who had been at Rangers and Motherwell. They've been linked with breaking their transfer record, which currently stands at 75k.
Well, that's been...
has that been refuted?
I think it was 150k now.
Oh, right, apologies, 150k.
But that was what was going about earlier.
Right.
But it's 150k. Some guy for Hull they signed. And
right, so they signed a guy for Hull
like
for 150k. So they're talking about breaking that in order to sign Ollie Shaw. Well, I mean, I don't know what's going on in the world. If Ollie Shaw decides that playing in the Premier League with Kilmarnock isn't a good idea and decides to go to Hartlepool, I honestly don't get it at all. I just don't get it. I don't know how else to say it.
Could Hartlepool be on now?
Could Hartlepool are going to be our new Fleetwood, aren't they? But again, unless they're offering them crazy money. But even how the hell Hartlepool, who I think did they just get promoted? Or
I think so.
Are able to better our wages because they don't have big crowds. They're no an established club. They're certainly not going to be going for promotion. I know Jeff Stelling supports them. What do you think, man? What's your instinct on this? Is there anything in this? Is this just chat because it's chat season, transfer rumours, or are we really going to lose Ollie Shaw to Hartlepool?
Well, that stood out was the tweet initially came for a man that listens to the pod as well, the Shrewsbury and Killie fan
that's
gets
right.
in podcast.
Yep, top man.
Who I think he said it came from the same source that told him that Ewan Murray was signing for Hartlepool,
right.
which was obviously spot
true.
on. It's just that's what we're talking about the other week. It's England, they can't offer more money than us. Like, it's as simple as that. If the money's right, then at the end of the day you've got to move on. I'll be disappointed to lose Ollie Shaw, and I never thought I'd maybe said that about 6 months ago, because I was one of his harshest critics. But I think once McInnes came in, and Lafferty as well for that matter, and maybe made him up his game a wee bit, I think he was tremendous, and to score 16 goals last season was unbelievable, and he contributed, and we all kind of different types of goals, whereas at first I was guilty saying, it's all penalties at this stage. So I would be disappointed to lose Ollie Shaw, because I think that he deserves a chance. I want to see him at least get a chance for us in the Premiership, but at the end of the day, if they're got to be thrown about, I don't know what you define as stupid money or what you would sell him for, but one thing I'll say, we related to the man Jones and that before, we never ever seem to sell players when we should.
Well, that's it. So, pie in the sky here, right? We don't know the ifs, the buts, the maybes of this situation. What would you accept for Ollie Shaw? That doesn't necessarily mean what the club will accept, but if we said the new, right, Ollie Shaw's going to Hartlepool, oh my God, the Mora, what do you think, right, but they're offering this, and you go, right, we take it, what would you take?
Well, we've got to look at it.
There's somebody talking about £1 million for him, I mean.
Nah, there's absolutely no chance that's going to happen. And I get it, we don't want to sell everything in the cheap, but in what planet does a guy score 16 goals last season and like, you know what I mean? He's not proven that really at the level. We know he could be, again,
there's potential there.
Yeah. That key word, but I think that really, I mean, if you're bear in mind, well, the MacArthur deal's still no through yet.
No,
the last time we really
true.
sold anything for any kind of real money was what, like Koulibaly?
Well, Greg Taylor.
Oh, sorry, Will Taylor, but he was sold well under market value.
So,
aye. What I'm believed to be that was a bit. Well, what I noticed in the statement was that they didn't say it broke our transfer selling fee.
So
Naismith was 1.8 million.
Right, okay.
We are selling a guy that's an internationalist in the current market, so I say it's about 1.5. It could rise to more than that way. The way which was disappointing, but right, Greg Taylor, but really he's like the only kind of guy for the Clark team that.
Yep.
Whereas you could have, I'm not saying you could have made millions out of it the same way that Hibs sold all the guys for, but I mean, you had Donald's an internationalist, you had Stuart Finlay was an internationalist, and it just didn't really work. Mm-hmm. I think Shaw's got a year left in his deal as well. I believe it would have been a 2-year deal with the signed, so right. You're thinking you've got to take that into consideration. I think that, I mean, we sold Bryson for like 350k, I mean, so rising to 450, but I think that you're talking if you can get 400-500 grand, I think that's probably good business.
I think anything close to $500,000, you've got to take it probably, unfortunately.
Because I mean, if you sell him and MacArthur, that's nearly $1 million the two players, and you can't really
it's huge given where we came from. So we'll see how that develops. If Hartlepool are willing to stump up $500,000 for Ollie Shaw in this crazy world, then do you know what? Good luck to them. So any Hartlepool fans, if you're listening, you can have a wee moan on Twitter if you like. Right, so we're going to take a very short break, and then when we come back, we're going to be talking about highs and lows of being a Killie fan, and of course the one and only Killie Trust Bingo. It's a hard year this year for you.
I think I need that.
Aye, you need it. If things have been far too easy for you so far. Alright, so we're back very shortly. You're listening to Forever and Ever, the Killie Fans podcast. My name's Paul Montgomery. Monty to my friends. Paul to my wife. Dad to my children. Son to my mother and father. But to those listening, just your humble host. And I'm here with the one and only Killie Callum Scott. We're going to be talking about highs and lows next. Have you got some stuff prepared?
Aye,
you do. Good,
I've got some thoughts in my head.
So what we're really talking about here is the highs and lows of being a Killie fan. So I just, you know what I seen the other night again on Twitter? Alston scoring the goal, right? It's so brilliant, isn't it? Like you forget how good it was. See when because honestly, you couldn't have scripted that better. No. See when that ball just gets rolled back to him and he can readjust his feet and he just slips it by the goalie. Bedlam, man. It was amazing.
Anytime I see the goal now, I can actually see it back in my mind's eye how I seen it, and I just remember just seeing the ball roll in because I was in hospitality, and I just
lost it, man.
Honestly, man, nearly a bit great.
I lost it. I was down on my knees, sobbing, so happy. And Taylor, my wee boy, who's 14, was like trying to pick me up, and then I don't remember. I never. He missed a pinch in injury time and all, didn't he? No, Shaw did. Shaw missed a pinch. And then full time. Oh, what a night. Anyway, so just brilliant, isn't it? So we talking about the highs and lows of being a Killie fan. Obviously, that's a huge high we've had recently. Obviously, the low of being relegated was horrendous. Winning the cup in '97, winning the league in '65, if you remember it. Various promotions as we came up through the leagues under Tommy Burns. 2012 with Dieter Van Turnhout. We've had so many highs. Over the years that everybody knows that we can all relate to. So what we're kind of going to try and talk about here is something a wee bit more personal, highs and lows that mean something to you, and we're looking for you to contribute as well on the Twitter and on the forums and on the Facebook as well. So if you've got a game or a moment or an event that stands out to you for whatever reason that was a high or a low as a Killie fan, then please let us know. But I've got a few picked out myself, but I'll hand it over to you first, Killie. Cal, what are some highs that stick out to you as a Killie fan?
Well, as much as we always kind of like to plead poverty with Killie, we've had plenty of good moments, haven't we? I mean, fortunate enough to obviously see us qualify for Europe, the cup finals and that, but we want to go a wee bit further than that, didn't we? We don't want. I mean, everybody's got to say 2012 or 97. Get I mean, so we want to try and go for stuff that, as you said, is a bit more personal to ourselves. Game without trying to go with the obvious, the Steve Clarke era just itself was phenomenal. The minute Steve Clarke got the job was a high for me, because I just knew that was it. I was like, we are. The minute he done it, I put money on us to win the Scottish Cup and get top 6.
Did you?
Aye, so I got the money for the top 6 and go to the quarters of the Scottish Cup that year. So, but I think one of the ones that stuck out to me in the Clarke era was when we actually, I don't think Malumbu Celtic or the Finlay Celtic one, but we beat Rangers 2-1 at Rugby Park just before Christmas. Boydie scored twice, man, and I'd never seen, I know Rangers were, I don't know, they weren't good then, right?
No, right.
But we battered them. Like, we absolutely battered them, man, and they went up 1-0 undeservedly, and the second half it was like us defending a 1-goal lead against Rangers. Like we
pinned them in.
Fodder them in nets, made 3 or 4 really good saves. We had like post, crossbar and that, and we really justly deserved to win that game. And again, just like kind of weird ones. Like the first away win I've ever seen us win was Queen of the South. Me and you went to that.
Aye,
there was a wee
right.
guy in the lead up to the League Cup in 2007. So we beat them at Palmerston. I think Naismith scored an extra time. But that was the first time I'd ever seen Killie win away from home.
Cool, man.
Because I'd only ever been to see us v Rangers and Celtic away from home. And then Motherwell beat us 5-0 once a game I went to, which was minging at Fir Park.
Ouch.
Aye, so Just kind of ones like that. Again, for the Clark era, try to stay clear of the big results, but we beat St Mirren 2-1.
The Power scored the goal.
Aye.
Brilliant.
That was.
Do you know what's great? Going to get feeling like a big club.
Aye,
man.
well, that was
really big boys here. We don't mess about. Tremendous buzz.
The thing that summed it up was after it. I think I was that my baby that day, and
we'll
get the train back.
Stevie, I think.
Aye.
I was doing something that day.
And we'll get the train back in, obviously for Paisley into Glasgow, and they was buzzing, man. We're just they're going there one, came for a hand and there one easy, and then it was just all the Killie fans walking through Central and that, just singing Killie songs and that, and you're just thinking, we're massive now.
They were great times, man. And that was it. Shabola scored the other
one. It was one. It was kind of dubious while across the line and all that.
That's right.
But that was a good one just for the scenes after and that.
On that note, then for me, one of the highlight. Obviously, I didn't want to go on about the Ibrox one each with Chris Burke scoring in the last minute after the penalty, because it's been talked about plenty. But that was honestly probably even more than the cup final in the Arbroath game. I don't think I've ever lost my mind as much as I lost it that night. It was unbelievable. But we beat Hamilton 5-0.
Well, see, I missed that because I was at a stag in Liverpool and I was gutted.
You know what? That to me, that had changed that St Mirren day, because Hamilton were always a bogey team, and it was like, it's going to be a slog. And do you know what? We just steamrolled them that day. Greg Taylor scored, and Michael and Jolly scored a cracker.
Aye. McElhenney, I think, scored.
McElhenney, aye, he was liked him.
So da.
And we just,
Taylor's only goal for Killie.
Is that his only goal?
Aye.
And we just bullied them and just hammered them, and it just felt like you could just see the total gulf in class between us and Hamilton, and that was a great feeling.
And for that as well, obviously I missed that, but for the Clark era, where it was always coming ahead and been hard to beat, but to go and hammer somebody 5-0, we didn't do it enough. Whereas we could have, we definitely could have, but times we just seem to rest in our laurels. We tend to go and say, right, we'll take that.
So that was a good one for me. I've also put down as a high. I went to Lurgan to see us play Glenavon in the UEFA Cup when I was about 14. So my dad and his mate took me over, and we beat them 1-0. It was just obviously I'm 14, I'm away with Killie in Europe. Some of the things I've seen scarred for life. But it was just tremendous, man, and like really feeling proud of the club and part of it all. Chris Innes scored, and
that last minute,
dead near the end, and just the buzz of playing in Europe and winning away for him, and then getting back into the centre of Belfast, and into our room, and my dad and his mate had a couple of cans of beer or whatever, and you could just hear Paper Roses belted out for all the boozers running about. And I just felt dead proud to be a Killie fan. And the coolest thing about it was I was 14, heavy football geek. Put on Eurosport for the UEFA Cup highlights. And it was like, I think it was like Lazio, and then Gothenburg, and then Sporting Lisbon, and then us. Like that, because I was just showing all the goals. It was sort of, maybe not that exactly, but teams of that calibre. And then us, and just feeling like, oh, this is what it's all about. We are right in amongst it. So that was a big one, like a personal one for me. To go abroad, it was in Northern Ireland, but that was a dead cool memory, and even in the ferry and stuff like that. Amazing. That was a kind of special one for me. That's the kind of ones that stick out other than the biggies. So, what about Lowe's? How long you got?
Exactly. We could do
a
whole podcast on it. Well, again, without getting into great detail, I just need to give him a shout out, Andy Barlow. Every single walk that we done in lockdown come down to this one game.
Right, I'm excited.
It was Connor's key, so
oh my
even more so in the relegation, because this was a 4 we actually went down, and that was all morphed into it, because we were like, this is shite, like we're rotten, man, and then we're going on, and then gradually be like, why's Kabamba still playing up front? And then it got to being like, and this was started for that Connor's key game. I'll never forgive them for that. The thing that hurts me the most about that was that it was Partizan Belgrade in the next one. It's like the most European tie you're ever going to get, really, for a club of kind of level. And I went to Belgrade in the game to watch. Again, said to Andy before that, I was like, right, we just need to book it. He's like, we've not beat Connor's key yet. I goes, mate, come on. I goes like that. I goes, if we don't do
winning the first leg though.
I know, because we're obviously doing and your away goal advantage, and that's even more so what I said. I'm like, they could beat us in a one-off game, but they will never beat us with 2 cleared goals. Like at Rugby Park, and it happened.
The horrible thing about Connor's key, I paid for absolutely everything, was you could see it unfolding. Like sitting there in that East stand, watching it happen and going, oh no. And then there's actually Gordon Sawyers done a video.
Aye,
And you can actually hear me in the background.
Oh, no.
Yeah, how embarrassing. And I actually sound worse than him. He did a video as he was doing at the time. And I think it was it Finlay that sent off?
Aye, in the penalty.
And you hear me going, oh my God, wow, fucking disaster. And I'm like, oh no. But it was just, it felt devastating.
Nah, it was so good. And as you said, you could just see it unfolding, because I remember freaking out in the first half, man. But like, why have we not scored yet?
Aye,
why have we not scored yet? Because we created a lot of chances. They missed a Saturday right early on and all, man, which gets overlooked. My big brother's like, calm down. It's alright. I was like, nah. Then the way out, actually, Cammy Bell was covering the game for Radio Scotland.
Right.
And then me and him made eye contact.
Oh dear.
It was like kind of heated passion, man.
Right.
We're just like, man, we're both just distraught. Like, you could see he was gutted and we just looked at each other. Didn't say anything, shook our heads. That was it. And I was the angriest I've ever been in my life. As you know, because we spoke on the phone for about 3 years after it.
And I said then, and we'll talk about this guy at length someday, Alessio never recovered for that. For me, never happened. Even though you can say we should have sacked him, shouldn't have sacked him, we had us playing this, had us in fifth, never recovered for that night, rightly or wrongly, and never would, in my opinion.
See what would never recover? A guy with the Italian dress sense, wearing trainers with suit, man. Which he wore, and we were Nike trainers with suits. You're never going to come back for that.
No, that's it. That's
maybe that's his style now. I don't know.
But that was a certain night, mate.
Aye. And again, just ones I remember actually this season. See when our Arbroath beat us up there.
I've got that one.
Oh man, we were up there, and I think it's still the most was like we were seething, man. Being like, right, that we've brought in McInnes, but like that.
We felt we turned the corner. That was the
Lafferty and that blah. Beat Bay. Oh no, and then we beat Bay just after that. So I thought and then we're thinking, oh no, surely no. And the worst it was, we're coming out to run, man. Arbroath fans were laughing at us. I was like, Arbroath are laughing at us. But so I was actually trying to take the best good. Some of my mates were getting really wound up about it, and I'm like, nah. I was like, let them have their moment. Because I would have been like that if I was one of them. I know I'd have been buzzing. That's why I was being Rangers Celtic, man. And then so that was one. And then just a wee kind of comical one. Mingin was Morton beating us 3-1 in the Scottish Cup. Oh, shut up! You got that down. I swear we've actually not spoken about this.
Honestly, I've got that one on.
Made me hate Chelsea Dagger for years, man, because they played that after every goal.
Passion me rain.
Freezing.
We were at a 21st the night before.
John's ex, man.
And I was rough as anything. We got hammered. It was just so depressing with a big crowd and all that.
I was 12 by the way at this point.
You 12? God, that's when you
11 or 12.
And it felt like it was the best away day for quite a while. I did roll it up for ages.
Support was brilliant, man.
And then got up there and Gordon Greer never recover. It was a bad day. And the other one I put down was that day when Rangers won the league.
It was grim.
It was so bad. It was so embarrassing. Was it 6 that finished?
No, 5. If they wanted to, Rangers would have won that. Honestly, I'd go as far as double figures. I think they were just like, right, because they only scored 1 goal in the second half. I think because they were just like, we're up 4-0
was it 3 after 10 minutes?
7.
7 minutes. Lafferty scored and all that. So I had a pal at the time, a guy I was working with, who was at Parkhead, big Celtic fan, and he was like, I'll text you and let me ken like what's going on with the game. And so I'd sat down in my seat and he was like, alright mate, just keep me posted. And I texted him straight away going, Rangers are up 3-0. And he was like, aye, ha. Seriously, let me know what's going on. And I was like, mate, it's 3-0 to Rangers. It's finished. It was so bad. And all the associated stuff with Rangers fans in the East Stand. And, gads, what a horrible day.
See, this is the one thing that I think will get me into heaven, by the way.
Right.
And to show that I'm not a corporate capitalist sellout.
Right.
I was obviously had a season ticket at that point. And I remember coming into possession an adult ticket for the Killie end, but obviously it was a sellout. And then there was obviously Rangers fans paying hunters for tickets. And I remember trying to get this as far as I could to somebody. And then I remember speaking to somebody, maybe it could have been you, but I don't want to discredit you. And he goes, Ken, what? Who even cares, man? Just go down and sell it to one of the clowns because they'll pay hunters for it.
Aye.
And I'm like, I can't do that. That makes me worse.
You not do it?
I goes, that make me worse than Johnson.
What a guy, man.
Because he went, and then I went, and this is me again, and I went, 14, 15-year-old, and then it was actually Steely.
Oh, aye.
Out in where I was just about to put it on the forums, man, and then Steely was like, that ticket's still gone. I was like, right, there you go, face value, done.
There you go.
Whereas I could
Mick Lynch in the house, mate. Love it, man.
Because I ken some of my mates that sold their season tickets to Rangers fans, and I believe Broadfoot, as a Rangers player, was buying, but that could be defamation there, but I remember somebody telling me that Broadfoot bought their season ticket off them to give to somebody like that because they were looking for tickets.
Oh, a horrible night. So let us know your highs and lows as Killie fans. We've got plenty of them. Long pod tonight, long pod, but hope you're enjoying it, everybody.
That's down to me, sorry.
No, that's that. We've got loads to talk about. So when we come back, before we finish, we're going to do the world famous KTB. It's the Killie Trust Bingo. Hello everybody, you're listening to episode 5 of Forever and Ever, the Killie Fans podcast. Loads and loads to talk about tonight. We're heading towards the start of the season. Pre-season game tomorrow night against Dunfermline. We'll maybe have a chance to chat about that next week when we record, and maybe some new signings in the door. We hope you're enjoying the content. You know where to find us on the Twitter and on the Facebook, and we'll stick up a thread on the KillieFC.com forums as well. Right, so before we wrap up tonight, it's the moment you've all been waiting for. Some of you have probably just listened purely for this wee segment. It's Killie Trust Bingo time. We're up to £13.50 for the trust. The format is I delve into the annals of Killie squad history. I pick 3 random squad numbers from a squad over the past 25-26 years, and Killie Cal has got to guess the player that wore that number that season. Simple as that. For every one he gets right, we give £1 to the trust. Simple. How you feeling tonight, mate? You feeling confident? You feeling a bit, I don't know?
No, well, I'm happy with the start I've had.
You've made a tremendous start.
But I think that I'm due an off night.
Right, well, this man might be difficult for you, okay? Because we do know that you're just a pup yourself. You're a young lad, so we're taking you back to season 1999-2000. Okay, so a wee bit further back than we've been so far. And the squad numbers that I'm giving you are squad number 4, number 7, and number 15. So that's season 99-2000, and we're looking for 4, 7, and 15. Bear in mind, what age are you here? 4, 5?
Aye. 4. Aye.
He's 4.
Aye.
This might have been slightly difficult, but you've been tremendous so far. People can't believe how good you're at this. So, right, there you go. There's your squad numbers for Killie Trust Bingo. What have you got for us?
It's 15 Varai.
15 is Jerome Varai.
I'm happy I've got one because
Right.
I can't really see me getting these air ones.
Right, okay.
Right, so
Well done. That's
did you
one
say
point to
4?
the trust. Number 4 and number 7.
Monty still there? Ray Montgomery?
Are you asking me?
Is it Ray Montgomery?
Is it Ray Montgomery? It's
No.
not Ray Montgomery, I'm afraid.
Kevin McGowan or something like that?
Not Kevin McGowan either.
Just stop me. Baker, man. Nah, get me.
No,
Stop me.
well, I tell you,
Aye.
I think this is the first one you've actually got flat out not been able to get.
Aye.
Number 4 was the one and only Mike Jeffrey. That season, Mike Jeffrey.
He scored against Rangers,
He
didn't
scored
he?
against
Aye.
Rangers, a header. He was a striker, but he took.
Aye, where's the number 4?
Aye, because Ray Montgomery had left and 4 was free.
I thought you'd maybe just left.
So, for those of you that remember, it was Mike Jeffrey that wore number 4 that season. So that's still on 14.50 for the trust, right? Number 7 that year.
Right, can I do my cash in here?
You want to cash in, you can cash in for a 50 pence,
then
yes,
give me,
if you must.
give me a wee clue with it.
Yep.
Right.
Right, so this is a guy who played a lot of football for Killie around about this time. Still fairly active-ish around about the club on Twitter, and he does some things you'll hear about. But I would never associate him wearing this number.
Oh, nah, but maybe no then actually.
Alright.
Is it a centre mid, no?
Yes.
Mark Riley?
It was Mark
Oh, is it?
Riley,
Aye,
mate.
good,
Well
good,
done. I was Mark Riley as a number 6.
Aye.
I think Christoph Kokard was wearing 6 then.
Ah.
So Mark Riley was number 7. Well done. That gets you another 50p.
I'll take that.
So that takes us up to a nice round £15 so far for the trust. So for 1999-2000, it was Mike Jeffrey wearing number 4, Mark Riley, Mavis Riley wearing number 7, and the one and only Jerome Varai wearing 15. I met Jerome Varai at Air Races one day and bought him a shot.
Did you?
Aye, I did.
Was he grateful?
He was very grateful. Had a great chat to him.
Did they say merci or
He said-
cheers given that
He
he's
said, merci beaucoup. No, he said cheers.
Because he's got the most like Scottish accent.
He's got a very modern accent, now, Jerome. What a player.
Brilliant.
What a legend. Alright, everybody, so there we go. That was Killie Trust Bingo. Hopefully you've all enjoyed a wee bit of an extended podcast tonight, as so much has been going on. We've got loads and loads for you next week. We're meant to do a segment tonight called Would You Rather, but we'll push that forward to next week. That's something for you to look forward to. Plenty more chat coming up. Hopefully there'll be more signings. There'll be more stuff happening in pre-season. We'll cover it all here on Forever and Ever, the Killie Fans podcast. Once again, thank you all for listening. We hope you're enjoying the show. Thank you for your company, Killie Cal.
Pleasure was all mine, as always.
Grafting and then coming and recording. What a man, this guy. And well done tonight on the Killie Trust Bingo, despite only being 4. All the other Wains are finger painting and learning how to quack like ducks, and you're sitting out with the Killie programme. I might need this one day. And there he goes. So we've done it again. £15 gone to the trust so far. Alright, everybody, thanks so much again for listening, and we'll see you next time. Good night.